It was.
I also like the little interviews they're doing, telling us the the favorite champions and stuff like that from the players. Honestly, we're right into draft.
Both of us got slightly surprised by that.
Game number 2.
Let's jump on in.
All right, boys. What is the plan for GAM?
Blue side.
I say pick up where Adam left off and slam a Garen pick or something, okay?
Yeah.
Play into the gods meme, because you need something. After that game number 1, after that stranglehold from DK.
How did that go for BDS again?
Yeah, well...
They did lose against DK as well, just as a...
Man, it is no fun having LCK guys here. They're just like, you're gonna lose, and what do we say? Yeah, okay.
No, it's really
yes, sir.
Because I particularly if you like Dplus this year, it's just been a lot, and I keep going back to this because I think it's so telling for this organization story this year. At the beginning of the year, more people predicted Dplus to win LCK Spring than T1.
Oh, is it T1? I thought it was
Gen G got 1 vote from Faker, and then Gen G went for the back-to-back, which you only knew if you've watched Challengers. You knew Pace was.
Was it Jonas Strong? All I know is I see graphics, and Jonas Strong's always votes for Gen G.
He is the GOAT. He's also the guy that is personally responsible for every single missed cannon zoom that you see in the LCK, and I think also they're still observing here at Worlds as well.
Well, I hope Jonas Strong voted for a GAM comeback in this game. Would be great to have this best of 3 go all the way.
That would be lovely.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't mind it 2-0.
As long as this game.
For the games.
In total, we can have
tournament.
A 3 game. Exactly. Kai'Sa logged in for GAM. Rumble and Rel picked up by DK. Does mean the Wukong's still open because Kalista, Xayah, Maokai were banned by DK, and Caitlyn, Alistair, and Renata were banned by GAM. K'Sante the lock, though, alongside the Nautilus for Pallet down towards that bottom lane, and it might be Canyon's Lee Sin again as we continue to rattle through the draft.
Yeah, we're going straight to it. GAM gonna go with the dive here, the instant combo, Nautilus point and click, Kai'Sa bottom lane down here. Meanwhile, Kana was one of the early Rumble abusers here, so I'm definitely scared for the likes of the top side from GAM. Now they're going to be the ones with that K'Sante in their hands, a little bit of a reverse.
Do want to give credit to the scouting on Gamer though. Kellen, even though he hasn't had the best tournament, was in my opinion the best Renata in the LCK last year. Absolutely incredible in this champion. I also think, as was mentioned yesterday, Renata's a champion that really is somewhat underappreciated. And if you know you're going for a Kai'Sa first pick, Kai'Sa Nautilus obviously, classic combo, works really well with the guaranteed setup and the amount of plasma stacks you can generate. And playing Nautilus into Renata is a very, very unpleasant experience.
Oh, I want to see what they go with the Rel down and for that bottom lane. What they pick for depth. Do they go for a kill lane to go right into it? I'm one that's looking for high Nautilus death counts for my pick'em, so...
yeah, me too. It's nothing great.
I want to see a kill lane bottom lane, and GAM, they're bending away the Aphelios at the very least.
I think it's actually been Alistair, in part helped by the man that was just on your screen.
Alistair hasn't had the best of times, but Kobe beef, obviously very tasty, so most our teams supping on that throughout the course of the competition. Vi and Wukong taken away from Levi, Nico and Aphelios taken away by GAM. Could look towards your AD carry here, could also go for the Azir if Showmaker just wants something safe. The Ziggs hovered. We have seen Death bring it out, and he is one of the best LCK Ziggs in Orcs' opinion when I talk to Orcs about him. But,
ooh, the extra engage.
Okay, Sivir. We both got excited for the Ziggs and the Nilo, and Sivir was locked in. I'm kind of...
Sivir's not as excited because it's like, ooh, the instant wave
she might get her first win at Worlds this year, Kobe.
Oh my, I would definitely wager that.
I was really hoping for Nila. I think Nila, particularly into dive, actually is really, really strong. And this should not come as a surprise, given how iconic, the most iconic champion for Levi. And you're playing Sivir into it. You're not going to have a good time here. Deft, not going to have the agency that he had in the last game.
Elimination game for GAM at Worlds 2023, and they go back to the Nocturne, to Levi. The question is, full super leash him again. Get that level 6 real early for the Nocturne. Leash multiple camps for him. They throw down the Akali here. Kati with some big confidence there.
Also gives you great assassination potential. You already have the dive coming out from the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus, Nocturne in fact, alongside that the Akali to get onto that backline, Deft is not going to have a good time.
No, and I think that this was very telegraphed already, and that's why I would have liked the Neela, because if you jump on Neela, she's like, hey, don't really mind that. We've also seen that some players in the LCK have been very successful with the pick. We've seen it hovered a lot at Worlds here, but haven't really seen it pop off. This, though, is an incredibly strong mid-jungle 2v2, and Canyon and Showmaker just looking to blow open the game here with the skirmishing power that they have.
Yeah, part of the reason I'm surprised at throwing down the blind Akali here, even though it is good against Sivir and trying to get towards the backline with the Nocturne, I am super scared for that 2v2.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Sin is very good at ganking Akali, can show up in the Shroud, as is Ahri. So I definitely expect Dplus to have some fireworks with the legendary duo, Canyon and Showmaker, early on, and trying to abuse this Akali pre-level 6 before you get a lot more of those options. Before Nocturne is level 6, before Akali is level 6, that should be big advantage over to DK.
I do think the GAM comp is a lot more cohesive because they can both play really good team fight, very straightforward dive composition, but you can also, if your Akali somehow gets ahead, you can play a really nice 1-3-1 or 1-4 where the Nocturne and the Kai'Sa both can shadow the side lanes, and it becomes really hard for Dplus to consistently find an individual target or try and get push in any lane. And I think the Dplus comp, it feels a little bit more disjointed. I do think there's a lot of power picks, right? We've seen Canyon's Lee, self-explanatory, the Lee and Ahri's combination specifically, plus the Rumble, but how does it fit together?
That is the question. Another question that immediately springs to mind is, can GAM fight back? 1-0 down in this series. They need a win here to stave off elimination, to keep it at bay for at least one more Nexus falling. DK, though, looking to scupper that ship just a little bit, make their way through to the round of 2 and 2.
It's actually like the in-game Keck W. It's so good. Braum, definitely the tilter. All right, let's see. Levi on his Nocturne, of course, always looking for the power farm, always looking for the early level 6. And Canyon currently looking like he's going to start on top side.
Oh, I want to highlight something here in the rune choices for Showmaker. Showmaker has done this on LeBlanc as well, where he's gone for Call. He also went Alacrity. So he's playing Ahri into a melee matchup, right, where already the Akali is always going to struggle a little bit early on, to really try and amp up the early game pressure. The first time he did this was with LeBlanc into Galio, and he went longsword. This was also years before the whole Shiv LeBlanc debacle. And we'll see how Kati's able to deal with it early on, because that harass is going to hurt even more than normal. As thank you, Showmaker, for
showing off exactly what it is. The Foxfire coming out as well, and Kati already down to 300 HP. Yeah,
I swear. Blinding versus Showmaker.
He loves these type of things. Like in so many interviews, he talks about this as well. Slater and Palette, Ghost.
Yeah, Palette ignited already. The aftershock falling off. Palette has to flash. Kellen flashing forward, looking for the chase. Slater has to flash. In the end, 3 summoners for 2 summoners actually coming out on the side of GAM if you looked only at the summoner spells.
Oh man, it is dream scenario right now for Canyon though. That is going to be multiple pushing lanes for him to work with. Burned flashes on bottom side as well. Definitely want to see what he can get done. Meanwhile, Levi will actually be the one pathing towards that bottom lane, towards those blown summoner spells. And even though Kellen burned his offensively, they can still punish it, try and look for a kill on the rel. Palette could set it up, look for one of these Hex Flash hook angles for themselves.
I mean, if you're Kellen, you always take your flash for the enemy AD carry's flash. That's always a trade you're willing to go for because you have that Hex Flash to back it up.
For the Nocturne, though, it would be a dream scenario to do a full clear into a gank successful kill onto bottom side, if they could make it happen.
Also, it would get you up above that 1,100 gold threshold that you want for your first back as a jungler.
Yeah. And also, it would take some errors from Kellen, from DK, because they did have the Raptor ward. So
let me really quickly check for you. Does Kellen make any errors, Chronicler?
Which Kellen are we talking about?
This one.
World's Kellen?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's possible. It's possible, Kobe.
Well, they clearly have it on their mind because they're looking for the Tri-Brush ward right now. As a duo, they go place it. So they've definitely got it warded out. And
strength in numbers.
Like clockwork, there you go. Nocturne goes over the ward.
Kati, E-flash, E-flash. Oh, just the charm. Kati has to flash away. Orbital Deception on its way back would have killed him off. Kiaya and Kana trading in the top lane. Kiaya down to half HP, but kind of to be expected in this matchup.
Also, I do want to remain consistent. Now it's time to roast Kana for not going Ignite.
Yeah.
Just want to, you know, we did the same to Kiaya in the last one. Kana, not going to earn you any Huni points. Which
Wait,
I think is a top laner.
That's you roasting?
Well, I'm not very good at roasting.
Okay, yeah.
Usually it's Rumble doing the roasting, right?
Hey. Someone had to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Kati's back. He's here for round 2.
Both his summoners burnt. Showmaker has the push in the mid lane though, so he can TP back if the wave's already pushed into his tower, or can just try and wander his way back down that mid lane. Kiaya trading hit. If Kana had Ignite, he maybe would kill Kiaya. I can't
Thank you.
say
I'm very
for sure.
glad you're on board.
Yep.
It's important. As Levi, even though it's Nocturne, I always like it if you at least try to threaten.
All right, this is where you go, right? Flame Splitter already down, the Scrap Shield used as well, so Kana doesn't have that movement speed. The flash away gets him to safety. Levi is on a ward and was spotted along the entirety of his path.
And I like this gank here because Kana, one of his biggest pieces of criticism is that he has been very susceptible to exactly these type of ganks.
At least for Kana, though, he gets his wave in and doesn't get stuck there. That would have been really, really painful if Kiaya was able to hold that wave. And then they had the traded flashes, and his jungle was topside because Canyon right now is towards bottom side of the map. And he is going to sneak away the dragon. You can just Lee Sin Q onto the dragon, avoid the Scuttle Crab, as can Hex Flash avoid that Scuttle Crab vision. So Dplus, in payment for a Nocturne gank on top side that only resulted in both top laners blowing their flashes, they will get objective #1 for the game. I think that is a pretty good
You take that trade all days of the week if you're Dplus Kia. All the summoners burnt in the top lane, but Kana able to survive. Levi having to show his face means that that first objective once again goes over to DK. In game #1, it was a 17-minute soul pointer, 24-minute soul, if I recall correctly. 23:17, in fact, is what I've scribbled down. Can't quite read my handwriting most of the time.
That's very in character.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we're setting up for another Cloud Soul, which I think is really cool.
I predicted Hex Soul, and it is actually quite high, like more Hex Drakes taken than anything else, so I'm hoping we get a Hex Soul this game. Cloud Soul would be in keeping. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the comfort not only of being in your home stadium, but also being on your home map a lot of the time for DK. Soul Shroud coming out from Levi as he manages to escape the gank. Does have to burn his flash. Was looking for this Scuttle Crab, but DK the first to react. Kellen specifically means that Dplus Kia will be able to take that Scuttle Crab.
And Flash is a huge summer spell for Nocturne because you can early Flash to keep people in your Fear Tether range. So no Flash available for Levi's first Nocturne ultimate once he does get to level 6. We'll see if GAM can still pull off that first kill on that big power spike of the Nocturne hitting level 6 even without the Flash, but certainly will make it more difficult.
And we're also seeing here in this mid lane the benefit of Showmaker's early itemization and rune choice, that you're always expected to fall behind here. And I don't think this is necessarily due to Kati not respecting or not being able to play the lane out, but we do see that Showmaker already has built up a lead, and that's even disregarding the extra amount of gold that he's already picked up and will get by the time that his call is finished. Levi, though, is about to hit 6 off of this Grump, just barely doesn't get it off of the blue buff, is on a ward though, so they are very aware of where this Nocturne might look to strike next. And the first ultimate, as we always say, is a big one.
Always the most important for the Nocturne, or at least one of them, as you say. I will give a lot of credit to Dplus Kia. The tracking of Levi has been impeccable. They love these wards up near the blue buff. I saw it in game 1 as well, and it just makes it so hard for the Nocturne to really have an impact. We've actually seen Canyon relatively mute in this game because he hasn't needed to be doing anything. He managed to get the first objective in terms of the Chem Drake, and he's always just been tracking Levi. He's been in the wings in case things happen, but he hasn't had to take action. And by not showing, it makes it a lot harder for GAM to play around it. You can see DK's bot lane already moving up. Slater still down in that bottom lane as well. No flash on Kana as Kati finds the flank, the equalizer down. But already it looks like Kana will be the first to fall. First blood over to GAM as now Pallet continues to trade. Showmaker dashing in with the Spirit Rush. Kati dashing out towards the top side, but Kia is now caught in the midst of 3 members of Dplus Kia, and he'll fall. 1-1 so far in the trade. Will Kati get out, or will Showmaker find him?
Oh.
Kobe crying next to me for some reason, QQing. Showmaker doesn't follow suit.
And even though the initial setup of that play is great from GAM, they seem to be caught off guard by the fact that Dplus is rotating both bot laners up. So even though they are able to get Kana, and if he had Ignite, you know, he would have gotten that kill, just putting it out there, he still does so much damage with the equalizer that by the time that Deft and Kellen show up, DK have an easy fight ahead of them.
Yeah, Dplus pretty happy because even with First Blood bonus, I mean, Rift Herald is 300 gold plus the probable 2 turret plates you're going to get for it. Here's another look at it. They do focus on Kana. He does a lot of damage to Kati, but as you know, Kati's going to escape anyways, and here's the collapse.
Yeah, I wanted the Ignite on Kati there, but they don't find it. But then, as mentioned, with so many people going deep on Kana, which I do think is a great way to start off the skirmish, they don't have Kai'Sa there. And level 1, Killer Instinct really isn't that far. You need to be quite close. So, as a result, Dplus are early on the rotation, pick up a counter kill as well as the Herald.
And Slater wasn't like able to push in and get a turret plate or anything on bottom side either. So just a couple of minions there. Meanwhile, Sivir in her home, the happy place, mid lane. Easy perma farm for Deft. Well, he has Kellen setting up vision towards the dragon, towards the bottom half.
You can see Kati just answering the wave here, but has nowhere near the shove of Sivir, ricocheting her way through those minions. A 700 gold lead for Dplus Kia early on here. 10 minutes in, they have that Rift Herald as well. As you so rightly mentioned, Kobe, sitting on Canyon. Where will he try and invest that gold? Can try and put it into Kana just to make sure he gets towards that first item spike a little bit quicker. Could also use it with Deft because you know you're always going to have the push in the mid lane. Makes it relatively easy to confirm the fact that Rift Herald will get the charge through.
Yeah, I always love using on mid lane, regardless if even Deft is there.
Sure.
Try and get that one down, but Dragon is up right now. Kati's going to E backwards, and they're going to continue burning this one down. Kana looking for a Rumble ult.
Rift Herald used in the mid lane. Pallet looks for the Hex Flash hook, can't quite land it. Equalizer down on Pallet, and he is sitting, and his world is on fire as the ground burns beneath his feet. An immediate engage by Kellen as well as Kati tries to dodge away Kiaya, trading in, but there's no one to follow up with any damage of any sort for GAM. Kana chased off towards the bottom side, but it's GAM who are doing the retreating, and it's Showmaker who will not stop chasing forward. Slater forced away under the tower, and Dplus Kia just wipe away the fight.
That is exceptional coordination from DK. You wouldn't know that they're the ones that got Nocturne ultimate. They're the ones with the better coordination, even with the lights turned out. They immediately collapse onto Pallet. Rumble ultimate goes down from Kana really early, and the follow-up is instant. Everybody groups up there, they jump on him, they get their kill. Kellen with the 2-tiered engage. Massive stuff here. He's able to get 2 more with his Rel ultimate.
Yeah, that Kana equalizer was blind and still better than a lot of the mid-lane
He's a top laner, man.
equalizers that we've seen. Obviously, this is always high value because also it locks Slater in, right? So some credit there, but
beautiful.
Then this engage and the coordination of Dplus is really hard to match. And I think that for GAM, with a composition like this, your coordination is so incredibly important because you need to make sure that whoever Nocturne jumps on, the rest of the team is following. Because if you end up playing front to back like we see there, where like Kellen's engaging, Deft standing behind like 2 to 3 people, you're just never going to be able to win. And now it feels like, particularly with a composition like the one the GAM have, they have no range. They have really good single target damage, but that's about it. And if you start falling behind, with a composition like this, finding your way back into the game is incredibly hard.
I love it. I mean, we always, get listened in on comms where teams are playing against a Nocturne, and usually the comms are like, I can't see, I can't see. Everyone just shouting that. But DK, they stick to the plan, immediately take down 1, and then followed up for 2 more for another game where, honestly, this is looking like steamroll towards the next stage for DK here.
Yeah, because we're in exactly the same position as we were in game 1, where DK have control of the game, they have control of all the lanes, they have control of the objectives, and they haven't taken a tower yet. There is so much gold on the map for them as Canyon looks for the kickback. Levi, Sonic Wave still hits. Levi will escape underneath this turret, but has to burn the flash. Oh! He's dead? Showmaker takes him with the Leandri's burn, I must assume?
Let's get another look at that one as he ticks on down. Canyon's still fishing around too. They're definitely having fun right now.
Yeah, that's where you don't want Showmaker and Canyon to have fun.
Yeah.
That's generally, for any opponent of Dplus, has been for the last couple of years, a really bad place to be. And that's what GAM, unfortunately, is on the receiving end of. And I feel like the previous game, they were able to hold on a little bit more as Deft.
Flash knocker from Pallet, but I don't think you win these. Kellen was waiting in the wings, the double stun with the Shadowing Strike, and Slater trying to get away will burn his flash. Pallet engaged, but he runs the wrong way around the rift to get taken out by Deft. Oh,
and now,
Canyon.
yeah, from this point on, like, what do you do as GAM? You're getting perma invaded, right? This mid jungle 2v2 completely out of control, but in these fights, at the same time, Deft has been able, and lane economy snapshot from Muscart coming in hot, like that lead in mid lane. That's what you want with a Lee and Ari setup. And it's so hard to play into once you reach this state as the opponent. Like, what do you do? Because you're constantly going to get pushed in. The amount of mobility and playmaking that these champions have is so high that, particularly if you have no range on your team, like, how are you going to ever walk up to a wave?
Yeah, and I actually love Showmaker's build for Ari, going with the cooldown reduction into that Leandris, because there are 3 health stackers on the opponent team. Really going to get some decent value out of it, and we saw it there with the tick for the kill. Now, objective bounties are up. By the way, the earliest objective bounties will show up is the 14-minute mark, and we're only 15 minutes now, so Dplus pushing up that schedule here.
Yeah, with a 5,000 gold lead at 15 minutes, you're in a pretty prime position to start closing out the game, especially since they've only taken 1 tower as of yet. Lots more gold still standing on the map for Dplus Kiev as they start up this Rift Herald. A reaction possibly from GAM, but every time they've tried to react in the past, Dplus Kiev have been able to
we're going for
fight back, and there's the TP.
I like the gusto from GAM.
Can they die as warriors? Will they fight it to the last? The hook comes in onto Kellen. The knockback as well. The equalizer already used, and the paranoia comes out. The dive onto the back line. Oh! Shut down on Death. And now GAM start to open up. Kellen trying to walk into the pit, maybe just escaping on a fraction of his HP. But Showmaker has had enough. He will smash the smiles off their faces as he cleans up the fight.
And he saves Kellen by killing off the Nautilus. Huge Showmaker with the quadra kill.
And then to top it off, he flexes the deft emote, the alpaca with the thumbs up, and credit to GAM. Right there, you see the power of a dive composition. You see the struggles that Sivir is going to face when playing into a comp like this, but the wallets for that Ari just too heavy.
Oh man, here's another look at it.
Kiaya, man.
It started out pretty big. You're right, Kiaya got the big grouping there, but it wasn't enough. Look at Showmaker with the extra charges off his Ari ultimate.
Oh.
Finishing off both. Then he comes over, finishes it up here with the Q pullback onto Nautilus.
Lost track.
Yeah.
Thought that there were enough people for him to get a penta.
Just add one more extra champion onto the Rift. As we saw what GAM can do in this sort of match, but just too far behind right now. Look at the damage from Kiaya as well. Showmaker's experienced the Cassante a few times in the past. I'm sure he was already having flashbacks.
So also been a really good tournament for Kiaya, right? And even with that play, with the lead that Dplus have, for GAM it's not looking good, but it's also an opportunity. I think that their run still has been incredible this Worlds, and Kiaya, to me, even more so than when we saw him for the first time, I think, or at least as far as I remember at MSI. Just so impressive with how he's been able to consistently find these really big moments in GAM's matches.
Yeah, their owner was talking about it, the 21 days here so far. They've been through such a journey, getting a lot of experience, as well as taking down Team Liquid and getting that victory over North America.
I will say we have seen Kiaya a couple of times before, just to make sure we are technically correct. Worlds 2019.
Thank you
played
very
in
much.
the group stage, and Worlds 2022.
But I wasn't there yet, so that doesn't.
Exactly.
That's
yeah,
not
first time
real.
you've seen him was
so
entirely
so that's
correct.
on me.
Yeah.
Kiaya definitely deserves the credit, but yeah, that's a normal Kenyan experience. He doesn't really talk.
I will say, I think GAM just generally deserve the credit. Last remaining team from the Plains team, last remaining team from an emerging region as well, with the VCS, who continued to shine. It took a lot of work for them to get this far. And a lot of people, I think, looked at perhaps whether PSG should have been the team coming out from Plains. I think with GAM's performance against TL, and even here against DK, they've proven that they have deserved their spot in the world's main stage.
Meanwhile, the legend of DK. I'm telling you, people aren't really focused on it right now because they're like, maybe the strength of opponents not so strong right now, but they're building their momentum in the lower brackets.
And we've seen many a lower bracket run.
Deft last year made the full run, so we'll see. Keep an eye out.
I'm not going to stop down them. I did do that last year, and that worked out great for DRX. So
I mean, the question, does Def need to wait 7 more years to make a world semi-final? You know, that's kind of the increment at which he's allowed to make it.
Well,
all
I
the
mean,
way
he even with Hanwha Live Esports 2021, which was a cursed roster for many reasons, did make quarters.
Yeah.
Did involve some shenanigans in that group. As see if Kati is able to get out here.
Yeah, dashes away.
Fine. It's Kali.
Easy enough. For DK, they're probably just waiting on the next dragon. You can control all the lanes, you can push them in, but if you get the Infernal Soul, the Baron obviously up in 20 seconds as well, if they do want to fight around that, denying vision of this top side. Makes a bit more sense to fight for the thing that's 20 seconds away than the thing that's 2 minutes away. I'll blame that little mind lapse on jet lag. Because for me, actually, that Infernal was 8 hours away from spawning. So it's
True.
That checks out.
Yeah.
We can account for the time difference. Honestly, though, all right, let's see. Kiaya and GAM still looking for something at this tower. Is DK will be able to rotate over. They've got plenty of vision. Look at that jungle lit up leading towards Baron. So I think they're going to go pretty quickly right on over to it as it spawns. Get in there and get out of the series, honestly. GAM, let's see what they can do. This is going to be it. Can they throw everything at it?
I mean, we've already seen how good their dive comp can be, and they do have a 6th man here in the form of that Baron. Takes Canyon down a little bit. Kellen looking for the engage on Pallet, who immediately flashes away, and now Kellen's in the midst of the team as the Paranoia is being popped by GAM, but they can't find anyone to dive in on. Vision not really there for them in DK's jungle. And Dplus Kia, a great job of grouping up, so if the Nocturne had dived in, it would have been very much a one-way trip.
Does mean that Kellen will not have his ultimate available there. Same for the Paranoia. We'll see if Dplus just started up again. Wouldn't be surprised. I do think that Paranoia specifically is like one of the main ways that GAM can kind of counteract the immense goal deficit that they're in because of the chaos it creates. But Dplus looks like they don't want to take the risk. You can also do the same thing, but just play for Soul, as you mentioned, which is a lot lower risk.
Yeah, I mean, Canna's got teleport, and bottom side turret is really low. I was thinking maybe they would do some sort of trailing play to bottom side to get that turret before the Dragon Soul comes up, but they can easily wait for a super high value objective, a low risk objective to arrive onto the Rift 40 seconds from now. Dragon Soul to arrive, and Dplus make a beeline straight for it. You get your early recalls, checklists for wards. Everybody's got control wards here except for Kellen, and that should be plenty of them. Get that mid-wave push and then rotate on over to it.
That's exactly what they'll do. 7,000 gold in arrears. GAM now looking at what might be the final fight of their Worlds run here in 2023. The VCS had a little bit of an international break over 2020, 2021, came back for Worlds 2022, and I think some people wondered whether or not that time away from international competition would cost them. I think we see here from GAM that maybe it cost them a little bit, but they continue to impress when it comes to the international stage.
Ooh, the poke actually being relevant here because of the build that was mentioned earlier with that Leandries. And we'll see. This is kind of all or nothing. You can't give over that soul.
That's on the hunt. Kellen going in. Kiaya trying to dive onto Kellen. Pulls him back with the all-out, and Pala's there as well. Kellen will fall, but already we see Pala going down as well as Kati has to jump away. Kiaya flashing out of here as well. Levi already dead. Kiaya on his last legs, and those legs might be ripped from under him as the charm misses, the orbit deception misses, but the boomerang played enough to find the kill.
Sivir chase down means they find the extra kill, and they're going to rotate right to that Baron. Could be an objective bounty shutdown if Slater and Kati were able to sneak this dragon.
I think with the vision and double teleport available, there's no way that they should actually be able to get it. We'll see if Showmaker and Kana are willing to teleport over, but it looks like, yeah, GAM also don't want to take the risk, because if they go down there, then that's the end of the game, and they have to walk up here to contest the wave because you cannot give up this objective, but it isn't enough. Kalin ends up going down, but like, it's 3 people investing all their resources. Again, the equalizer splits the fight, and DK, their backline completely safe, so Deft and Showmaker just unthreatened, unbothered, able to dictate the pace of the fight.
Yeah, Showmaker had another really good charm there, grabbing an extra one up, and deathless Ahri performance from him. Don't think he's going to die either, as he's got the stopwatch plus the ability.
Oh, well, now you've done it.
As soon as yeah, that was the tipping point. Let's see about the Dragon Soul though. GAM, honestly,
I mean, how do you fight it? You don't have vision control.
You don't.
Your own jungle is littered with wards. Kia over here to clear it out, but the Infernal Soul over to Dplus Kia. You see GAM trying to find something in the mid lane. Maybe Showmaker oversteps, but he's got Flash, he's got Spirit Rush, and has all the tools he needs alongside that stopwatch, as you said, Kobe, to escape any possible shenanigans.
And now this bot lane turret getting sieged up. There's full vision around the bottom half of the map, so DK feel very safe here. Is a TP ward available here? We'll see if Kia wants to go for it. There we go.
Kalin going in with the Magnus Storm. Kia already down to half HP. Can't even go all out. Not even just this once, as a double kill already happens. Kati trying to cut the wave, but the TP comes out as well, as DK will stop him from doing so. Kana going to chase him away, and Kati will be able to escape, but for how much longer can he escape the clutches of DK? The Nexus awaits for them if they so desire, but the Red Bull Baron power play might be adding an extra plus 50 at the end of it. Still a minute left before that Baron expires.
All right, Kana's coming down too to finish the job. Everybody wants in on the picture. 10 seconds left on Kia. The Baron buff over 50 seconds here, and
I mean, you have double cannons, you have the range, but those cannons actually don't let you walk up close enough to the tower to auto it yourself. DK,
here come the Bronze!
As Canyon dives in, Kati kick back and shuts out of the fight. DK already found 2, they're looking for more, they're looking for 3, they're looking for 4, as Kiaya falls for the double for death. The Fountain, the only hope the Slayer has, but that hope is shut out by a boomerang blade from Death. The Infernal Soul doing its work as DK secure their spots in the next round.
And Dplus continue their insane level of dominance against teams that they are, on paper, ranked higher than. It's a streak that's lasted the entire year, and as good as the GAM run was, and I think as happy as the VCS was with the performance of both GAM as well as Team Wills in the play-ins, Dplus, unfortunately, as Showmaker said in the the opening video of the day, we're here to wipe the smiles off their faces and destroy them, and unfortunately when